The imperial palace of Zyrthia hummed with a silence so profound it felt like death itself had taken residence. James Mitchell stood in the grand medical chamber, his worn maintenance uniform a stark contrast to the crystalline walls that pulsed with bioluminescent veins. He wasn't supposed to be here, not even close. His job was to repair the ventilation systems in the lower decks, not stand in the presence of alien royalty. But the distress call from this sector had been urgent, and James was the only human engineer within range. The Zyrthians were a proud species, their bodies composed of translucent, opalescent skin that shimmered like captured starlight. They stood nearly 8 feet tall, with elongated limbs and faces that bore an unsettling beauty too symmetrical, too perfect. And now, their princess lay dying on a floating medical platform, her once radiant form dimmed to a sickly gray. The environmental controls are failing, a Zyrthian official said, his voice a melodic chime that James's translator struggled to process. Fix them, quickly. James nodded, keeping his eyes down. The dozen royal family members gathered around the platform watched him with expressions he couldn't read. Grief perhaps, or anger. The Princess Aliana couldn't have been more than their equivalent of 20. Her chest barely rose with each shallow breath. He moved to the wall panel, fingers working quickly through the holographic interface. The system was ancient by human standards, but the Zyrthians valued tradition over efficiency. As he traced the fault line in the power distribution network, a sudden alarm blared through the chamber. Aliana's vital signs flatlined. The room erupted into motion. Medical attendants rushed forward with devices James didn't recognize, their movements frantic yet precise. He pressed himself against the wall, trying to stay out of the way, but his boot caught on a protruding cable. He stumbled forward, arms wind, and his hand slapped against Aliana's exposed shoulder. The contact lasted barely a second, but in that moment, James felt something a jolt, like static electricity, but deeper, more profound. It raced up his arm and through his chest, and for a heartbeat he felt her pain, her fear, her desperate clinging to life. Then the world exploded with light. Aliana's body blazed with brilliance, her skin shifting from death gray to radiant pearl in seconds. The monitoring equipment screamed with feedback as her vital signs surged. James was thrown backward by invisible hands, Zyrthian guards who materialized beside him with weapons drawn. "What did you do?" the Emperor himself demanded, his voice no longer melodic but sharp as shattered glass. "What human treachery is this?" I didn't," James gasped, held in the air by some kind of telekinetic field. "It was an accident. I tripped." But no one was listening. The medical chamber descended into chaos as attendants swarmed around Aliana, who was now sitting up, confusion clear on her alien features. She was speaking rapidly in her native tongue, too fast for James's translator to keep up. Then she looked at him, her eyes, 3 of them, arranged in a triangular pattern, locked onto his with an intensity that made James forget he was suspended 3 feet off the ground. She raised one elegant hand, and the guards released him immediately. He dropped hard, barely catching himself. "Bring him to me," Aliana said, her standard surprisingly fluent. The royal family parted like water as James was half dragged, half walked to the platform. Up close, Aliana was even more otherworldly, her skin now pulsing with soft inner light. But there was something in her expression, curiosity mixed with wonder, that seemed almost human. "You touched me," she said. "I felt it. Your life force. It's unlike anything in our records." "I'm sorry, Your Highness," James stammered. "I didn't mean to."
"No."
She held up a hand. "You misunderstand. Our people, we draw energy from resonance harmony with our environment, with each other. But I have been out of resonance for months. The physicians said I was dying because nothing could align with my frequency anymore." She tilted her head, studying him like a puzzle. "But you, humans, you're discordant, chaotic. Your life force doesn't harmonize, it fights." James blinked. That's a bad thing, right?" "It should be." Aliana stood, and despite her 8-foot frame, she moved with fluid grace. "But when you touched me, that chaos sparked something, like striking flint to steel. You didn't heal me through harmony, you shocked my system back into fighting for itself." The Emperor stepped forward, his regal bearing barely concealing his confusion. "This is impossible. Humans are barely evolved. Their biology is crude, their energy signatures primitive, and yet this crude, primitive human saved your daughter's life." A new voice interrupted. James turned to see an elderly Zyrthian, her skin bearing the deep azure patterns of advanced age. She approached with a knowing smile. "I am Elder Physician Thoronal. I have studied xenobiology for 3 centuries. She gestured to James. "And I have long theorized that humanity's greatest strength is their beautiful, terrible dissonance. They don't fit into the universe's natural harmonies, they force the universe to accommodate them. That's the most accurate and insulting compliment I've ever received, James muttered. Aliana's laughter sounded like wind chimes in a storm. He has humor, too. Father, this human must be rewarded. The Emperor looked between his daughter, glowing with returned health, and the scruffy human engineer who'd accomplished what dozens of Xerthian physicians could not. Finally, he sighed a sound that resonated through the chamber. What is your name, human? James Mitchell, sir. Your Majesty, your Imperial. He gave up. Jamis. Jamis. The Emperor rolled the name around like he was tasting something exotic. You have given us back our daughter. The Xerthian Empire does not forget such debts. As the royal family began discussing honors and rewards, James caught Aliana watching him with those three curious eyes. She smiled an expression that translated perfectly across species. Thank you, she mouthed. James nodded, still trying to process everything. He'd come to fix a ventilation system. Instead, he'd apparently proven that humanity's chaotic, discordant, stubborn refusal to fit neatly into the universe's natural order was exactly what made them special. He couldn't wait to tell the guys back on the station. Humanity. Fuck yeah, indeed.